Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zing here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Rank, where I climb the online VGC 15 ladder and provide live commentary as I go. We're going to jump back onto the ladder with Jeremy Rodriguez's team, continuing to use the really interesting and eccentric team that he built to win Indiana Regionals, currently with a rating of just under the 1800s after taking a pretty rough loss in the last episode. Definitely a really close one. But if you haven't seen the last few episodes featuring this brand new team, I highly recommend it. They've been some really fun games, some really fun teams, and for me it's really exciting since this is a team with a kind of different playstyle than I'm normally used to, so I'm definitely learning a lot with it as we go along. As always, if you guys enjoy Road to Rank, please share your support by leaving a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. In addition, as I've mentioned recently, I am getting back into weekly streaming on Twitch. This week's stream will actually be tomorrow, so if you guys are interested at all, I should be streaming around 2 p.m. Pacific time / 5 p.m. Eastern time for around 2.5 hours or so. Definitely come check it out. If you don't follow my Twitch channel already, it's twitch.tv/CybertronVGC. I'm really trying to get back into it to do more fan interaction. I think it's a lot of fun in general, and I think, you know, just streaming on Twitch is pretty important to help competitive VGC grow. We're going to find Robert from California with a rating of 1630 for our first opponent of the day. Robert rocking a team of Rotom Heat, Gastrodon, Kangaskhan, Sylveon, Aegislash, and Virizion. So, pretty intriguing team. Gardevoir definitely puts in a lot of work. I think the Gastrodon is what scares me the most. I think Gastrodon has a very good matchup against this team in general because of my inability to get a super effective grass type attack off against it. So, I'm really scared of that. What else? So Heatran's really good here for Rotom Heat, Sylveon, and Gastrodon, or Aegislash, but suffers against Gastrodon, Kangaskhan, and Virizion. I think Sableye is the way to go here over Whimsicott. Being able to Will-O-Wisp stuff is pretty great. So I'm gonna go with Sableye. I see Gastrodon and Sylveon. I like really don't know how this team fares well against the combination of those two. Like, it's not like those two are exactly that common, but I'm really scared of that duo right now. So I'm gonna go with Sableye. What else do I want to go with? I don't even have a Pokemon that can threaten both, like either of those for a one-hit KO, so that's really not looking good. Maybe I should go the Fake Tears route with Whimsicott instead, is what I'm thinking. Because you probably bring Sylveon here, and you bring Gastrodon. And the only reason I want, I mean, Sableye can swagger, but you don't really want to swagger too early on. But Whimsicott kind of just sits there. Swagger helps against Aegislash as well. Okay, I guess I'll go Sableye. I'll go with Gardevoir as my lead with... I like Terrakion here for sure. And Heatran, I think. Yeah, let's go with those four. I'm going to lock in and see how this goes. But this team definitely has some scary matchups against Pokemon like Gastrodon, Sylveon. Now, you know, Sylveon can Hyper Voice everything, bar the Heatran, but if you have a good answer to the Heatran, then kind of just runs amok with it. So, gonna have to try to play around that. One cool thing I can do is I can swagger my own Terrakion, which has a Lumberry, and Sableye here can threaten that a fair amount. Another cool thing about this team is you actually threaten Terrakion and Whimsicott, which you know, often has the beat-up combination, but actually doesn't have it on this case. So we see the Rotom Heat Gastrodon combination from my opponent, which isn't too bad here. I trade Storm Drain, which could be helpful, but I don't really care too much about having it. Okay, let's see. What do I want to eliminate? I definitely think Gastrodon is the bigger threat right now, so I do want to prioritize that. Could Swagger immediately so I can go for the Foul Play to get maximum damage output. Kind of tempted to do that, yeah. Just because Swagger will allow me to increase Foul Play's damage and Hyper Voice here. So let's go for that. The Rotom here shouldn't do anything more. He actually switches out Gastrodon, which I'm okay with, but a good move at that end. Aegislash comes in, so Aegislash is going to be taking a Swagger, which is pretty good for me here. You know, it's kind of mindless to just spam Swagger from the first turn, unless, like, you know that you get a lot out of it. In this case, like, I knew it was a pretty safe play here. So Sableye is going to be able to connect with Aegislash, basically forcing it to switch back out, unless, you know, Aegislash wants to dare attacking in it. However, my Gardevoir's Hyper Voice here really won't do too much damage against either Pokemon. But we are going to see Rotom Heat target down Sableye with a Thunderbolt, most likely predicting the Protect from Gardevoir. So at least I get the Hyper Voice off here. Still does actually very good damage, probably a critical hit there against the Rotom as it is. So with that, I am simply going to go for the... I kind of want a Will-O-Wisp here on the Aegislash. But let's say it takes the gamble and attacks. I don't want to risk that. Yeah, I'll just foul play here, actually, and Psychic. Because presumably my opponent has Kangaskhan as the last one. And if that's the case, then this is actually looking really solid for me. I just need to eliminate the Gastrodon. Rotom here is going to switch out into Sylveon. So it looks like Sylveon and Gastrodon did come out in combination here. He doesn't switch out there with the Aegislash, which means a foul play there ends up working out quite nicely. But, whoa, he's faster. He's going to go gamble for it. Is he going to be able to get the Flash Cannon off here? This is going to be huge, guys. Let's see. Oh, he gets the Shadow Ball off, probably targeting down Gardevoir. Yep, is that enough to knock me out? Gardevoir hangs on with 29 HP. We see the special defense drop there, but that means Sableye does get the foul play off against the Aegislash. So, unfortunately, me being slower there means I don't manage to pick up the knockout before it attacks. You know, as good as a turn as I could get. I guess, actually, no, I could have protected with Gardevoir and went for the attack onto Aegislash there. And so Gastrodon comes back out. Now I'm wondering, actually, no, that means my opponent does not have Kangaskhan, which is good news. So Sableye basically has done what I really needed to. But once again, you can see how scary this combination of Sylveon plus Gastrodon is. I'm quite honestly terrified right now. Given that my opponent's last Pokemon is Rotom Heat, if I eliminate Gastrodon, I outright win this one. So, I mean, we're probably going to see a Hyper Voice. I don't really want to switch out into Heatran here. I might just sacrifice Sableye by going for last attempt Swagger. Or I could Will-O-Wisp, I guess. No, let's Swagger the Gastrodon. Make it at least control into 50-50s. And I'm going to protect Gardevoir. Yeah. So, you know, you can see how scary this combination is. I don't know what items my opponent has either, whether he has Quick Attack on Sylveon, which could be a game changer. Oh, Gastrodon actually goes for the Protect. Good play. So prevents my Swagger. And we're going to see the Hyper Voice, yeah. So Sableye goes down. That was a good Protect on my opponent's end. So I could have switched out potentially into Heatran. So now the question is, I mean, I could bring in Terrakion, but I don't know if Sylveon, for example, has HP Ground, and Heatran still can't really solo against Sylveon and. So who do I bring out here? I could bring in Heatran. I might have to bring in Heatran. Or I could bring in Terrakion, Protect, get a Hyper Voice off, and then Heatran comes in. And then I can close combat Heat Wave. That might be the play, actually. But yeah, like, I assessed in Team Preview, like, this duo is just really scary against it. And my opponent made the right play in not letting, you know, RNG go in my favor there. So I'm going to Protect. Now, I do have Poison Jab, which is kind of a cute tech against Sylveon. Maybe I can Poison Jab here, actually. But then I might just lose Terrakion. Yeah, I'm not too fond of that. I'm going to Protect Hyper Voice here. Oh, this is a scary finish. And unfortunately, my opponent was smart enough not to bring Kangaskhan since he saw I did have Terrakion. Okay, at least Gardevoir outspeeds here and gets a Hyper Voice off before fainting, which is good. A lot of good damage there, actually. Okay, Hyper Voice comes out from Sylveon. And now the question is, does my opponent's Sylveon outspeed? If it doesn't outspeed, I should be able to win this one, as we see Scald go onto Terrakion. Because all I have to do here is then just close combat Gastrodon and Flash Cannon Sylveon. So the question is, do I want to predict it to be faster? Ah, that's scary. Because if it's not faster, then I just win. If it is faster, and he protects with Gastrodon, I lose. What do you do if you're my opponent here? You know, I think I'm just going to close combat and Flash Cannon here. So, first question is, does Gastrodon protect? Oh, Sylveon protects! Okay. Well, let's see if close combat's enough to knock out the Gastrodon. Close combat coming out. Picks up the knockout. Nice. Excellent. So that should be game right there and then, because this next one I just Rock Slide to eliminate Sylveon for sure. And then Heatran wins against the Rotom Heat. So my opponent was banking off the fact that I would probably Rock Slide there to knock out Sylveon, hoping that I wouldn't assess Gastrodon as a threat, but Gastrodon obviously threatens me a lot more. So Rotom comes out, and Heatran by itself can carry the game at this point, so I'm just going to Rock Slide. And, oh, Earth Power the Sylveon here. I actually could have Flash Cannon there, but either pick up the knockout. Okay, so no Protect comes out, Rock Slide connects with both Pokemon, and that should be game right here. Yep, perfect. Oh, that was intense. It basically came down to that last turn, so despite the matchup looking pretty bad, given that my opponent had Gastrodon and Sylveon, we were able to play around it decently enough. Basically, Gardevoir was able to get that chip damage where the Pokemon in the back could have finished it off. So, a really great game there for my opponent. Very scary matchup in general, and you know, it was basically the most scary because without the Aegislash, my opponent didn't have that much damage output against my Mega Gardevoir, which is quite bulky in itself. So, you saw that Shadow Ball wasn't able to pick up the knockouts. Obviously, moves like Hyper Voice and Earth Power would do even less from Sylveon and Gastrodon. So, I was really surprised my opponent went for that gamble. I also wasn't sure how fast it was relative to Sableye, but I guess Sableye is a pretty slow Pokemon. So, should have expected the undersped, but fortunately did pick up the knockout. I mean, that was what we were going for. And despite Aegislash attacking through Confused form, or when it was confused in Blade form, we were still able to win because Gardevoir was able to hang on. So, really close match there. We're going to find a 1834 rated player from Japan for our last game of today's episode. A pretty cool team here. I see another Virizion, though it didn't make an appearance in the last one. But Charizard, Tyranitar, Virizion, Landorus, Thundurus, and Milotic. So, pretty interesting team composition there. Virizion definitely sticks out to me the most, but a Tyranitar here with Charizard is also pretty interesting. Angel Miranda, as I'm sure a lot of you guys remember at US Nationals, ran Landorus, Special Form, Tyranitar, and Charizard all on the same team. We played twice on stream, actually, but it was a really well-constructed team. And Gardevoir's Hyper Voice here in combination with Terrakions Rock Slide will be really good, I think. The real question is, you know, what kind of speed control do I want to go for? Do I want a Tailwind? Do I want a Trick Room? Who do I want to bring between Whimsicott and Sableye? Oh, Rotom's really freaking good against my opponent's team. HP Ice knocks out Landorus, Thunderbolt knocks out Milotic, or does a ton, Thunderbolt knocks out Charizard, Hydro Pump the Tyranitar, just has to avoid Virizion. So I think Gardevoir and Rotom are definitely essential in this matchup. Yeah, Heatran's not very good, bar walling the Charizard, but even that, it can't do too much. So probably going to eliminate bringing Heatran here. Terrakion's still worth bringing, I think. So the question is, do I go Sableye? Or do I go Whimsicott? I really like, you know, just going for Tailwind immediately, but the scary thing with this team is if your opponent's smart enough, they're not going to knock out Whimsicott, so you protect Tailwind the first turn, and the next turn, like, you're kind of stuck just losing the Pokemon you have next to Whimsicott. So let's see what I want to lead with. Maybe Terrakion? Gardevoir? No, I still like Sableye as a lead, I think. Yeah, I'll go Sableye, Gardevoir, Terrakion, and Rotom. I don't know, maybe not bringing Tailwind really was a mistake in this match. For me, I'm still trying to get used to. You see that I bring Sableye the majority of the time, so I need to get used to bringing Whimsicott. But in the couple of practice games I had with the team, like, my opponents were all smart enough to not, you know, hit the Whimsicott. Perhaps I need to play a little bit better with it. But I'm going to go with Sableye and Gardevoir. We're going to see Thundurus and Landorus as a lead here, which is actually pretty ideal, because you can't taunt my Sableye given that I have a Mental Orb. So I can immediately get a Will-O-Wisp off here, which is pretty sweet. And I trace the Intimidate as well. So that's a really good start to the game for sure. I could Trick Room here, actually, which is an interesting option. I do want to Will-O-Wisp the Landorus, but my opponent might switch out into Charizard, which I probably would do. So I could predict the switch out and switch out into Terrakion. I don't know, it's kind of risky, right? Because it's like, if I switch in Terrakion, I might just take an Earthquake Thunderbolt. Ooh. You know what? I'm going to go for the Will-O-Wisp play. It's relatively safer, and I'm just going to Hyper Voice. Because I know, worst comes to worst, Thundurus gets a Thunderbolt or a Thunder Wave off, but if your Landorus stays in, you get burned, and that helps me significantly for the rest of the match. But my opponent is smart enough to switch out, so let's see if Charizard's coming in. Yeah, going to be Charizard. So close to predicting that, but really didn't want to take that risk. But worst comes to worst here, you know, like, my Gardevoir Mega Evolves, I get a free Hyper Voice off against both my opponent's Pokemon, and I can switch out the next turn. But that was a nice play on my opponent's end. So Will-O-Wisp goes into it. We do actually just see Thunderbolt going onto Gardevoir. Nice play there, I like that a lot, when Hyper Voice comes out from Gardevoir. Wow, this did a lot of damage to the Thundurus. Not even Citrus Berry. Interesting. So here's the tricky thing. I kind of need Sableye to burn the Landorus, because my opponent doesn't have a way to stop it. Oh, it would have been so nice if I switched Sableye into Terrakion. I just really didn't want to risk that. And I was hoping my opponent might like try to taunt Sableye, but I guess in retrospect there's little reason to stay in there. So here I could just protect Gardevoir and sacrifice Sableye to get a free switch into Terrakion, which I'm honestly considering. And who would I swagger here? Swagger Thundurus and protect. Yeah. Yep, Charizard's gonna Mega Evolve. The thing is, once Terrakion comes in, I can Rock Slide and potentially Trick Room. By reversing Trick Room, then Gardevoir might, plus Rotom Wash, might have enough firepower to close it out. I don't know what item the Landorus has, which is by far the most annoying thing right now. So Gardevoir protects. Swagger connects with Thundurus. Okay, based off how offensive this Thundurus is, I don't know. Maybe, well, actually, I mean, you're not going to be physical, but the Thundurus's base attack is quite high, so if it hits itself in confusion, it might just faint here. But he gets the Thunderbolt off, targeting down Sableye smartly enough. Yep, and paralyzing it, but that's not going to matter much. Unless the Charizard here goes for a Flamethrower, which it does, into Gardevoir. Oh, there you go. Okay, well, with that, I am going to Swagger Charizard. I kind of want a Trick Room here, but the thing is, if he gets a... Oh, because he has Flamethrower, that's interesting. I'll Swagger and... Kind of rolling the dice here, though, if both Pokemon attack through. Do I want a Hyper Voice predicting the switch out? He's probably not going to switch out. But I don't want to set up Trick Room yet. I'll Swagger and Psychic, I guess. Yeah, because... Oh, he does switch out, though. Landorus coming back in? Nope, that's gonna be, Wow, he just walked in with the Virizion, no fear. But I guess he was figuring, like, okay, I'm probably gonna get this Flamethrower off. So let's see, if Charizard doesn't attack through here, that's really good for me. Like, I think that's enough momentum for me to win the match. Oh, and he hits itself in confusion. That's really unfortunate for my opponent. So I get the Psychic off, and I suddenly eliminate the Charizard. But then I just realized Virizion's also a threat to my Rotom Wash, so it's not over yet. But that does mean that now I can just burn things with the Sableye. So a little bit unfortunate roll for my opponent there. Could have gone for the Hyper Voice with my Gardevoir, which in retrospect actually would have been a lot better. So we're going to see Thundurus come back in. Let's see. Kind of want to just Will-O-Wisp. But he might have Lumberry. Yeah, Virizion actually is the bigger threat here, and I should have assumed my opponent had Virizion. So that's kind of a bad play there. I should have Hyper Voiced. Might have actually even done enough damage to knock out Charizard. So that was a misplay for sure. Now the question is, do you protect with your Virizion and Thunderbolt Sableye to pick up the knockout? Or do you just attack? Ooh. I kind of want to conserve Sableye here. Switch out into Terrakion. That was not a good play, I don't think. I went for the switch out the Hyper Voice, predicting the Virizion to protect, and the Thunderbolt to go into Terrakion. But if he's Lumberry, you just go for the Leaf Blade. Oh, okay, never mind, he does protect, so make myself look a little bit better here. He goes for the Thunderbolt onto Terrakion. Okay. Oh, it gets the paralysis actually, but I do have the Lumberry, which helps me out here. And Gardevoir is going to get the Hyper Voice off here. Though Trick Room there actually would have won me the game, so that was another slightly bad play. I mean, I wasn't sure what he was going for there, but I should have thought more long term. So I pick up the knockout. It is up 4-2 in my favor, but the game's definitely not over yet, especially with my opponent's Pokemon being Landers here. But actually, I will be able to figure out speed here. I will be able to figure out whether he's Scarfed or another item, which is good. So given that Virizian's definitely the bigger threat, Poison Jab's actually super effective, which is kind of cute. So I'll go for that. Maybe get a Poison, and I'll protect with Gardevoir here. Rotom Wash obviously wins the game against Landers because it has the super effective Hidden Power Ice, which just knocks it out on one hit. So right now I want to target down this Virizian, but I don't want to just lose both of my Pokemon at once, because that would be pretty bad. So I'm going to play a little bit safer here. I'm going to save my Gardevoir, keep it around for at least one more turn. Since Virizian protected, I'm guaranteed some free damage off here. But if it has the Lumberry, which I'm assuming it does, then... Actually, no. If you have Lumberry, you don't protect there. So I'm guessing he's Life Orbed. That would be my best bet. And if that is the case, then Sableye will be able to play dividends here. But I think Landers is probably going to choose... Well, first of all, let's figure out what item it has. Okay, so he's Choice Scarfed. That is good to know. So he's going to eliminate Terrakion from the field, which is definitely a very good play. But now he can't hit Sableye at all. And he Leaf Blades Gardevoir there. So I'm going to bring in Sableye for sure, because Sableye is not affected by the superpower. If I had Recover, I think Sableye would literally just be able to carry this game away. So I'm going to go for the Will-O-Wisp onto Virizian. Actually, let's consider this. Let's say I switch Virizian out into Rotom. Well, if he's Lumberied... Yeah, that's a scary thing. So if he's Lumberry, or I miss Will-O-Wisp / get fully paralyzed, I lose Gardevoir, and I think Gardevoir is my way to win this one. Because if I burn the Virizian, then the other question is my opponent smart enough, and does he Leaf Blade Sableye instead? So I could Will-O-Wisp Hyper Voice here. I just don't know what item it has. If it doesn't have Lum, I win. If it does have Lum and he makes the right play, and Leaf Blades Gardevoir, I think I lose, though I can still get the burn onto it. Will-O-Wisp. Alright, I just went for the Will-O-Wisp Hyper Voice. Oh, the paralysis! No! Oh, and he's smart enough and targets on Gardevoir. Is he Life Orb? If he's Life Orb, I'm going to be so sad, because we had the win. He is like... Oh my god. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, it's not over, but I don't think... another game stolen by RNG there. But, I mean, it's not like the odds were particularly in my favor. I could go for the Swagger here. Do I dare go for Swagger? Or do I just Will-O-Wisp protect here? Well, the other question here is, what does Virizian go for? Do you target down Rotom or Sableye? Or do you protect? You would definitely superpower Rotom here. I would Leaf Blade Sableye. That's the play I would make. I'm going to eliminate Landers from the field. Oh, that's game. That's game. I needed the burn there on Virizian. And Leaf Blade comes out. Okay, well I don't feel as bad, I guess, since my opponent doubled up onto Rotom. Gets a critical hit for insult to injury. That really stinks, because poor Sableye got paralyzed from Thunderbolt, not even Thunder Wave, and then failed both Will-O-Wisps when we had the win last turn. And this one, it would have been a little bit closer. I don't think Superpower plus Leaf Blade would have knocked me out since after the burn. And then it would have come down to, I think, Swagger shenanigans. So my opponent made the right play there, so I don't feel as bad. I guess it's not over yet, actually. I could Swagger the Virizian to death. Might as well go for it, right? There's no other play possible. Definitely a little bit heartbreaking there, though. But, you know, that's what happens when you get paralyzed. I got lucky for Charizard hitting itself in confusion as well. Alright, Virizian hits itself in confusion once. I wonder if foul play plus another confusion hit will do enough. I never thought I'd Okay, the fact that we can still win this is absurd, but you gotta do what you gotta do, right? I'm gonna go for the foul play. Yep, superpower goes into Sableye. Confusion, can we get it? Nice! Is foul play gonna knock it out? No, the paralysis! Oh my god. This is really happening. Well, now if he knocks himself in confusion, he just faints. If I had recover here, what would Will-O-Wisp do? Would Will-O-Wisp help me at all? What? I mean, does it matter at this point what I go for? No, because Leaf Blade will still knock me out, right? So he needs to hit himself in confusion once again. Yeah, if he... I guess... If you don't hit yourself in confusion, you protect. Well, that doesn't matter. I'll just foul play. Can we get it? Can we get it? Oh, third turn. No! Oh, what a heartbreaking game. Sableye gets fully paralyzed 3 times. I mean, obviously we needed the RNG there in the end, but the fact that we almost got it too was ridiculous. Yeah, it's not like Will-O-Wisp there would have prevented the knockout. I guess it was the best play. You go for Will-O-Wisp there, though, instead of foul play. Just because if he's not offensive enough. That was actually, yeah, that was pretty bad. I mean, I think Sableye gets knocked out there anyway. But who knows? Maybe the I don't think the Sableye is built enough, but that would have at least given it a chance as opposed to just going for foul play. So that was me not making actually optimal plays there. I was just relying on the swagger. But Will-O-Wisp there definitely maybe could have helped me out, because as long as Virizion doesn't knock me out, then I just beat Landorus. So, kind of wish I went for that just to see how it would have turned out. Though I guess, yeah, I mean, that was kind of a ridiculous ending, but a silly one at that. Anyway, that's going to be it for this episode, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. That last game was pretty absurd. I'm actually going to do that damage calculation just because I'm a little bit curious whether Will-O-Wisp mattered or not. But him attacking through means that if it picked up the knockout regardless through it, it would have been game over. But you know, I definitely wasn't actually thinking like, oh, we can win this. But that's why you should always fully think through everything, even when it looks like you have no chance of winning and like the last couple turns really sucked just because you can. That was a really exciting one at that. Poor Sableye there really didn't get to show off what it can really do when it can disrupt your opponent, but still a pretty good one. And you know, that's a game that we should win the majority of the time, and I'm pretty pleased with how we played overall. Anyway, that's going to be it for this episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, leave a like if you did, and I'll see you guys next time. Alright, peace.